that other organization, who shall also remain nameless. And Kane came on the air and started his program on this radio station in Atherton Drive a couple of years ago. We decided that we would just totally ignore him, which just absolutely had Kane clawing with fingernails breaking off the wall. So we'll just ignore that guy that created all the problems for Uncle Neil. But anyway, the New Times did a real good job on that, and now the New Times turns around with some guy named Albert Stern. Canned bird. Neil Rogers, Glenn Hill got fired because he's a turkey. Glenn the Bird Hill, I've been plucked. And it is on page 4 of the brand new Times, which has been delivered to our front desk here, our receptionist desk, to the tune of about 50 copies. I have skimmed through the article. I am not going to read it on the air because Uncle Neil is going to deal with that at length tomorrow on his show. And how dare I, would I dare steal a subject before he gets an opportunity to delve into it? Man, I won't do that. But the beautiful and multi-talented competitor in this building to this particular program, the WGTR Night Jock, Heavenly Evan Lee, is mentioned on page 50 with regard to a separate situation. WLRN's Bob Slade. Let's see, who wrote this? We always have to give, Greg, somebody named Greg Baker. All right. Oh, by the way, we'll have Tom Leykis on the telephone from Los Angeles at 9:05 tonight. I know that you're excited about that. Tom Leykis is a Big Wheel talk show host on our sister station, KFI, in Los Angeles. He has absolutely no ratings, but he is tremendously successful at what he does. And you'll be able to call in and talk to Tom. Okay, that'll be after 9 o'clock tonight. Another of Neil's great friends. Anyway, this is an article about, I don't know what. It says, and I quote WLRN's Bob Slade, he hosts the long-running Hardcore and More show Off the Beaten Path Mondays at midnight, was on WIOD talk show host Alex Bennett's program the other day. They talked about underground rock and played songs by Nuclear Valdez and Vesper Sparrow. Sounds like a couple of real award winners. No, Joe, you can go home. I'm not going to read this article. I'm not going to have Neil ripping me for 3 hours instead of the Bird tomorrow, or for 4 hours. How long is he on? 4 hours. Now, go get your own copy and take it home and read it. Anyway, on WIOD talk host Alex Bennett's program the other day, they talked about underground rock and played songs by Nuclear Valdez and Vesper Sparrow, whoever that is. WIOD is WGTR's sister station. Best bet. After the Nuke song, Slade wondered aloud why the station next door won't play it. We love people who shoot off their mouths, and WGTR night jock Heavenly Evan Lee is nothing if not a mouth shooter. She does have a nice mouth, doesn't she, Eric? I've been looking at Evan's mouth very closely. Evan has a very nice mouth. Since she sort of declined our request for a sort of interview, we're declaring open season on the loose-lipped babe. If you have anything nasty to say about her, call Baker at 372-0004. We'll print the meanest remarks. Why would we do this? A little aside here. Because we're little, tiny, immature boys and girls. That's why we would do this. Right, Greggy? Wonder what this guy eats for breakfast. Probably bananas. And not on cereal either. Why would we do this? Not to fall into the tongue wagger's blatant publicity ploy, but because of earlier feedback that calls for something to be done about this blabbering bimbo. One night, a couple of weeks ago, my friend and colleague, Tom Finkel, called me at home to ask if I'd heard the GTR jock ripping me on the air a few minutes earlier. Gosh, no, I must have been listening to She. We concluded that this attack was pretty neat, although we were taken back by the DJ's suggestion that because WGTR advertises in this paper, they must somehow be protected from editorial commentary. That, of course, is nonsense. And Finkel also was a bit drop-jawed because he says big-time DJs in cities like St. Louis and Providence would never deign to mention on air some half-lame rock writer from some scrappy little rag. And that was that. Big-time DJs from St. Louis and Providence. Okay. Boy, these guys are really, no wonder they're into Nuclear Valdez, huh? The next night, though, I received another call, this time from my friend Rick McCrimmon. He must have heard it from both of his friends. One on one night and one on the other, and that's probably it. His phone hasn't rung since then. The DJ on GTR is, he began. Again, I ask? That's not right to talk behind somebody's back like that, my friend pointed out. Who knows what's going out over the airwaves unless you have friends who call you. If someone on WIOD is knocking Al Davis, that's the L.A. Raiders boss, does someone call him and tell him? I always wondered about that. The Raiders fan continued, either you're messing up or I'm going to have to go over to this chick's house. Geez, Rick, could we just go fishing at the bridge instead? At that point, your humble narrator called up this GTR Mike Sucker. Evan is a Mike Sucker? And invited her to call the next week and have her say, without rebuttal in this space. We didn't hear back from her, but did receive a copy of an interesting letter a few days later. Someone named Art Gonzalez had written the 3-page missive to the program director of the number 2 AOR station. Gonzalez overhears WGTR while he works on the local gym. The female disc jockey, sorry, but I forgot her name, was upset with the New Times in general and with Greg Baker in particular, he wrote. At least he remembered somebody's name, huh? She was pissed off at the paper and furthermore said, Nuclear Valdez music stinks, so forget it. The letter continues, referring to the fact that the Miami station doesn't play the music of the first serious rock band from Miami to sign with a major label? After guessing correctly, that New Times has an in-stone policy of not giving advertisers preferential treatment in the editorial sections of the paper, Gonzalez offered this. I see Greg Baker's article and the editor's hands-off policy as pretty rock and roll. Animals we are. Now, call us with those nasty, sexist, vicious comments. Okay, what's that number again? All right, where in the hell's the number? Bop, 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 bop. Okay. 372-2004. Do-do-do-do. Greg Baker, please. He has really. You have a radio there? You got it on to WIOD? You better turn it on. Because I'm going to give Greg Baker a message for which he is not in the building to accept. Stan Major. Right. All right? Huh? That's your problem. That's not my problem. You can tell him for me that anybody who would waste 30 seconds listening to stinking Nuclear Valdez needs to have serious head examination. All right? Okay? All righty. Bye. That was his editor. Somebody was in here pushing Nuclear Valdez off on me, and I put it on for, about 10 seconds? You weren't here. You don't remember. Nick would have remembered. I put that on for about 10 seconds. Hey, listen, I've heard a lot of lousy music. I listen to FM radio down here all the time. I hear lousy record after lousy record on She, on Zeta, and yes, even on our sister station here, WGTR. But I got to tell you, I have never heard anything so crummy as that 10 or 15 seconds of Nuclear Valdez. And is this guy Greg Baker, is he like their agent or something? Is he on the take? Well, anyway. Okay, Evan, we took care of that. And the other article, I will not read the article because I don't want to infringe upon what Uncle Neil has planned for tomorrow, but I will tell you in my first skimming of the article and first reading of the article, this Albert Stern, who wrote the article, is very much like an asshole who wrote a book about Elvis Presley about 5 years ago, Albert something. And he makes his living digging dead carcasses up. And I was supposed to have him on my show in Philadelphia on WWDB. And I asked him one question, the guy who wrote the Presley thing, Albert somebody, and I'm glad I forgot his name, and he hung up on me. All right. Let me give out the phone numbers because we're going to be talking to you on the telephone up until the time that we have Tom Leykis from KFI in Los Angeles on. Now, Tom used to be down here. He was at WNWS. He was on the air against Uncle Neil when Uncle Neil was on WINZ. They are not friends. I believe that Tom Leykis has a respect for Neil, what he does on the air. I'm not sure that Neil has respect for what Tom Leykis does on the air, but that's not the important thing. The important thing is we will give Tom an opportunity to have his say about what's happening in the wonderful world of Hollyweird radio, and you'll be able to call him, and you can have a good time, okay? And that'll be at 9:05. The date numbers 7519463. The Broward numbers, we have one line available, 524-WIOD. Boca del Rey is 278-9463, and Palm Beach is tied up at the moment. When it becomes available, it's 655-WIOD. Do you want to take a break before we start with the phone calls? Let's do it. We'll take a short break, and we'll be right back with your calls. We have nobody calling from Dade County. That's the number to call, 7519463. Whatever you'd like to discuss. And, hey, if I'm wrong about Nuclear Valdez, please be my guest. Call me and tell me. But I think this stuff stinks, what I heard of it. We'll be back on the major program on News Talk Radio 610 WIOD.
Follow the Yankees all season long on South Florida's sports station. Now, the Stan Major Show continues on News Talk Radio 610 WIOD.
Diane.
Hello, Stanley.
How are you, Diane?
I'm okay. I didn't mean to hang up on you before, but I'm trying to get ready to go to dinner with Jim, and I was at a point in the preparations that it required me to hang up. I
didn't talk to you, so you must have hung up on Eric.
I hung up and...
Now, what are you wearing tonight, Diane?
I'm wearing black leather jeans, and I'm right now looking for my black underwear.
This is a hot young lady.
Yes, indeed. And I'm wearing a black sweater with, nice mohair type black sweater. And my purple cowboy boots.
Wow.
And I'm wearing my pants over my cowboy boots, of course. We would never be so tacky as to tuck the pants into the cowboy boots.
Why don't you do something different to wear your underwear over your leather pants?
Well, I could always go without
that
the
would
pants
be, get a little Madonna look there. Madonna look.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Bring underwear back. Underwear is passé already.
That's true, but I like lacy underwear.
I don't. I like white cotton panties.
Oh, God. Oh, well, that's why I didn't marry you.
Okay.
You know what? I called you to tell you today I got my contract signed.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you. So since I saw you the day that I had come from my lawyer and everything, I just wanted to share that with you.
Well, that's great news, Diane, and I wish you fantastic luck in the big world of business.
There you go, yeah.
Evan, have you got white cotton panties on? No, okay.
I own those also, but I don't wear them with my black leather jeans as a rule.
Okay.
Okay, you have a nice night, Stanley T.
Have a good dinner.
Don't lose the number.
Well, celebrate.
Well, we're going to do that.
Good.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Hasn't got the foggiest idea what's been going on in the first 20 minutes of the show, but that's okay. So did you hear it, Evan? Did you listen? Did you hear? Did you hear his editor? No, you couldn't hear him because I didn't put him on the air. But his editor was rather taken back by my call. Okay? So let me give out the phone number. If anybody wants to call in and defend the beautiful Evan from GTR, let's just bug the hell out of the New Times, huh? What is the phone number again? You want to jot this down? If you hate Nuclear Valdez with a passion and you love Evan, who's our big competition on GTR as we speak. By the way, your record just ended. Then you'll want to call a guy by the name of Greg Baker, okay? And his number is 372-0004. 372-0004. And he says in the new edition of the New Times, page 50, we love people who shoot off their mouths. And WGTR Night Jock, Heavenly Evan Lee is nothing if not a mouth shooter. Since she sort of declined our request for a sort of interview, we're declaring open season on the loose-lipped babe. If you have anything nasty to say about her, call Baker. We'll print the meanest remarks. Well, just load them up with positive remarks about Heavenly Evan, okay? Because she's a doll. She's okay. And her husband's a big fan of me, so I'm prejudiced, all right? Now you know where that body is buried. All right, let's go to Fort Lauderdale.
Hello, Stan.
Always exciting, Fort Lauderdale.
Hello, Stan.
Sir, don't go out. They just rolled your sidewalk up.
Oh, hello, Stan.
Yes.
You have a very relaxing show, and I wish you luck on your show. You know?
Uh-huh.
And at least you're not going to throw any real big words at us. The other preceding guy, he threw big words at us. We didn't know what he was talking about.
That's correct.
We had to be like a college professor.
That's right.
Yeah. Another thing, do you think, the United States is backing this, the reunification of Germany? Do you think if the rest of the world, if they don't reunify Germany, do you think that East Germany will fall back in the hands of the communists? Do you think that's the reason that the United States...
Well, yes and no, sir. Yes and no, okay? Gee, I know I shouldn't have taken that call from Fort Lauderdale. That's what happens when you live in Fort Lauderdale and it gets to be after 6 p.m. in the evening, man. You've got nothing to do. West Palm. Oh, are you there?
Yes.
I'm waiting for you to speak.
Well, how are you?
Great.
I would listen to your show if I could, but I think we're blacked out up here.
Oh, well, you have to get a really special radio with a really special antennae.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I just got a new one.
And then you have to, move it around a lot until you get us. Put it up by the window.
I'll try that.
Okay.
I would like to. I used to listen to you when you were on in the daytime.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's very kind of you. You were the one female listener.
You're kidding.
That's about it.
Why?
I don't know. The show was #1 in men 18 plus, but we didn't have any women listening.
Huh.
You tell me.
I was listening.
Great.
I enjoyed your show.
Well, you want us to put you on hold so you can listen to Tom Leykis?
I've been listening to you on the telephone.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I've been sitting here listening.
And that's why you called.
Well, I just wanted to say hello and say that you should mention to them that there might be some listeners in Palm Beach after... What time do they black us out?
There aren't any listeners in Palm Beach during the daytime. Why should there be any at night?
In West Palm there are.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I know a lot of people that listen to your show.
Fantastic. You mean they listen to this show instead of WJNO?
Well, I don't... My boss listens to WJNO.
Your boss listens to J&O?
Yeah.
He listens to Lee Fowler?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. How are his ears?
He has no class.
Yeah, I know.
No.
He probably doesn't even wear a suit and tie to work either.
No.
See, you can tell the type, can't you?
He's old,
Yep.
What are you going to do?
Aren't
the
we
younger
all?
guys listen.
The younger guys listen to who?
Uh-huh. Hmm?
The younger guys listen to who?
You.
Oh, great.
Well, they listen to, what's his name?
What's his name? Yeah.
Alex. I like Alex.
You like Alex?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, we found one.
I haven't heard anyone on your station yet that I didn't like.
Great.
Maybe there's something wrong with me.
Well, that could be, yeah. Okay, you like Larry King, too?
I've seen him on television, I think.
Uh-huh. But that's right, you can't listen to him at night. Because you have the same problem with him.
Well, I have never tried to listen at night before until I heard that you were on between 8 and 11, and I wanted to hear your show.
Now, you actually turned the radio on to 610 and you couldn't get us at all?
No. And I was listening when I first came home from work because I had been listening whenever I could at work.
Yeah.
And I don't get to listen at work a whole lot anymore.
What kind of radio did you get?
When I first came home, it wasn't bad. It had some scratches.
No. What kind of radio did you buy? Is it is it like a portable radio that you can move around?
No, it's a receiver. I got a new...
you got a stereo tuner?
Yeah.
Oh, God. You'll never be able to get us on that.
Oh, I should turn my truck radio on.
You should get a little Sony Walkman and put it by the window.
Yeah?
That's what you should do.
I have one of those here somewhere.
Well, go dig it out, put some fresh batteries in it, put it by the window, and turn it up real loud and see what happens.
That's a good idea.
Okay?
Yeah.
And let me know.
We'll try it.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, Lou.
Bye-bye.
I mean, that's what you have to do. You have to go to all kinds of extremes, okay? All right. This is the New Times edition for, what's the date on it? February 7th through the 13th, 1990. The cover story is the Noriega makeover. Who says you can't turn a frog into a prince? We've done it. See the amazing results of our exclusive 8-step style and beauty regimen and bring on the jury. Okay? Some dumb crap about making Noriega over. Like that's going to sell newspapers, huh? Okay. Obi-Wan Kenobi is on the phone.
Hey, Stan, how are you?
Miami.
How's it going?
Great.
No, I was calling because I used to listen to your show when you were on from 2 to 6.
Right.
On my way home from work, and, I still listen to WILD. Excuse me, I still listen to WILD during those times. But this guy, Alex Bennett, I just want to know where they found him because
San Francisco.
Every time I turn the radio on, he's either talking about going to a strip joint or getting laid or something or other. I'm saying, damn, at least you weren't the greatest, but damn, you were better than he was.
What can I tell you? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like they say in the business, give the kid a chance. All right.
Yeah. Well,
we've run Alex Bennett up the flagpole in South Florida. We'll see if anybody salutes.
Well. The way, I don't think he'll last because, all this, at the time he's on, he's competing against, some pretty good people.
Like who?
Well, I think Sandy Painton's pretty good.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and I'd rather listen to Ann Bishop on Eyewitness News than to him.
Oh, get out of here.
It's true.
Oh, jeez. Oh, well, Terry Merriman, maybe.
Well, okay, fine.
She's
but
hot,
better,
okay? She's hot.
In fact, I'd rather listen to you on at that time.
Now, let me ask you a very personal question here. Do you like girls?
Yes, I do very much. Do you?
Have you seen, of course, have you seen Terry Merriman?
Yes. Do you like Giselle Fernandez? I know you do.
I like both of them. And I think maybe tomorrow we'll have a contest running the two of them against each other because we have nothing but men who listen to this show anyway.
Well, that lady up in Palm Beach.
Well, she can call in and vote. I mean, we're not going to be discriminatory on this program. But I think that's our show tomorrow, Eric. A poll running Terry Merriman against Giselle Fernandez.
Okay, well, I just want to, give you my comments on what I
appreciate your
Alex
call,
Bennett,
I appreciate your call. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Don't you think that would be fun? Giselle Fernandez against Terry Merriman. In fact, maybe we'll do that after Leykis hangs up on us, which could be any second after we start talking to him. I mean, he's big wheel now. He's big Los Angeles. He's out there in Hollywood, California, and he just might not want to talk to us very long. Who knows? How about Sally? Sally who? No, I'm afraid Sally's not in the class of Giselle and Terry. We're talking about pure, unadulterated sex here, okay? We're not talking about newsability, reporting talents, anchoring ability. We're not talking about that crap, man. When you're talking about Giselle Fernandez versus Terry Merriman, you're talking about sex. All right? Excuse me. I got carried away there. Mark.
Yeah.
Mobile.
Stan.
I'll say it again. Mark in a mobile.
Hey, Stan, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Listen, just an observation. I remember when you took on in that afternoon slot. It took a little while, and I sort of enjoyed listening to it because I'm in the car an awful lot in the afternoon. And then when Alex took over, I was taken back. But I'll tell you, there is a certain merit to his show. It's more like a variety show in the sense, well, not just the audience concept, but the idea that all the different guests he has on now. Does he have like a budget that you never had access to be able to have as many of the?
He doesn't pay for any guests. I don't know what they pay. They must have paid Penn Jillette to sit down here and be a sidekick for a week.
Right.
But I don't know what the deal is.
Well, it's someone. I think perhaps maybe I was offended sometimes when Neil or you kind of got on us because we weren't calling as if we were the center of the show, the callers, and as opposed to turning it on and saying, well, look, I want to be entertained. Boy, why should I have to be the focus of the entertainment? Let's be entertained. So it's a little different, and I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the audience's reaction is.
Yeah, it will. But sure will.
It is still good to hear your voice.
Thank you.
You have a good one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm. Canned bird. Neil Rogers says Glenn Hill got fired because he's a turkey. And Glenn the Bird Hills says, I've been plucked. Now, those are not direct quotes. Those are rewritten quotes by a mung-brain reporter for the New Times whose name is Albert Stern. So we have two award-winning reporters in the New Times that we can pick on. This guy, Greg Baker, who doesn't like the girl next door here. And again, that number, if you would like to call and say something really positive and something great about Evan from GTR, and say the nastiest thing you can possibly say about Nuclear Valdez and this reporter Greg Baker, will you? I mean, really tell it like it is. 372-0004. Now, this is not a tape machine. This is his editor is sitting there, and I guess we're going to keep the editor on duty late tonight with the phone calls, right? He'll probably call in and plead after a while, please don't give the number out anymore, but the number is right here in the New Times, and I have a freedom of the press. I have a right to read this. I'm giving them total and complete credit, right? Now, if they hadn't printed the number in the New Times, I wouldn't have given it out on the air. But they saw fit to print it in the New Times, so there, okay? See, I can play these little kid games just like Greg Baker and Albert Stern. Rick in Hollywood.
Christine and Vic, get back to work.
Oh, okay. Mike.
Stanley T.
Pompano.
How you doing?
They're off.
Listen, I just wanted to call in and give a little support to you. I'm really glad to see that you got a nighttime slot, and you didn't move too far.
Well, where else can I go?
I don't know, as long as you stay on IODs where we can listen to you.
Oh, well, that's very kind of you. That is very kind of you.
Well, it's nice. At least I got accustomed to you. I listened to you a little bit on the midday show and, sporadically, and then I listened to you religiously on your afternoon drive show, and now I still have the opportunity because I work sometimes at night to listen to your show, and so it's nice and it's pleasant to see that you didn't disappear.
Well, that's you have to thank the IOD management for that and Uncle Neil because I was ready to disappear, believe me. Oh, look at the model from Richie's Swimwear, will you?
She's in there?
Hot. No, this is a new one.
Oh, I see.
Wow, Sheila Lauren. They even print the model's name. Boy, I wouldn't do that. She might have a telephone listing.
Their little portfolios, the single page with a couple pictures gives all those statistics. That's like common in the modeling agencies.
Well, now, if we had any young ladies listening, which we don't, obviously, since this is such a sports jock station,
Right.
But in the ad, Richie says, wanted next month's calendar girl. Apply in person with photograph to any Richie swimwear location. No agencies nor phone calls. So you have to walk in.
Right. You know, what I was thinking is, how can we get the girls to call in? Is there any way you can think tonight?
There aren't any women listening to this radio station. Don't you understand?
Well, you know,
this radio station has every male in the world listening to it. There are no women out there.
I promote the station equally. It doesn't matter who I'm speaking with. If it's a male or female, I still ask them to listen. You know, if it comes on conversation. But it always seems to. Talk radio is a, big part. It's growing, isn't it? Wouldn't you say?
Like a fungus.
Talk radio is growing, I think.
Well, talk radio in certain aspects is growing, and in other aspects is dying. The old-fashioned WNWS concept with the issues and the guests is dying. That format is dying away.
If you had your choice,
they haven't discovered it over there. But you can take a look at their ratings. You would soon discover it. You don't have to be a genius. My 12-year-old stepson could tell you that.
I don't even know where they are on the radio dial, to be honest with you.
They're at 790, and they sound a little muffled, like they're talking like this, and you can't really understand exactly what they're saying.
Also, I wanted to point out that
By the way, they used to, before that stupid company that owns them now, Jefferson Pilot bought them, they used to have one of the best and clearest signals in South Florida. So does that tell you about the ownership and management of that company?
So how do they reduce a signal? What do they do?
It's not reduced. They have the power's okay. It's just that in all the wheeling and dealing between the old WGBS and acquiring WNWS, they evidently wheeled and dealed the best transmitter and tower away.
I see. Oh, so you like sublease towers, is that it? That's why your old the caller from the female from West Palm might possibly be shut off from the signal.
No, our signal doesn't get up there at night.
Oh, is that right?
It's very spotty. It's spotty.
I traveled to...
have you ever tried to listen to INZ up there at night? It is impossible. It does not exist.
You guys are the only ones I listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Talk radio, IOD, that's it.
Well, that's all you need, man.
Yeah, and I'm 23. I'm 23.
Well, listen,
I wanted to let you know
you're too young to listen. You ought to be listening to She, man. You ought to be listening to Hot 105.
I like She. I like the girl at night, Wild. What's her name?
You like her better than Evan?
Is he on She?
Evan is on GTR. She's right next door, and she's been in twice begging me to rip this guy, Greg Baker.
Is that right?
Yeah, she's a doll.
GTR is a fallback. If she's no good, and you know what else I listen to?
What?
I listen to the 98.7 WKGR from West Palm because I live up here,
Yeah, they're a good station.
Yeah, they're different. They're like the stations that you always comment about outside the Tri-County area.
Yeah, I like KGR. I like RMF.
You know what else that has a good format?
But RMF's a little too Bobby Soxer for me, But you know what they played the other day?
What did they play?
Donny Osmond.
Is that right?
Yeah, I forgot to tell Uncle Neil that.
Did you ever meet him personally?
Who, Uncle Neil?
No, Donnie.
Oh, no.
I thought maybe you were in the studio or something.
No, I didn't quite make it in that day.
But, you know who else has a good
I'd
format?
like to meet Marie.
I'm sure. I bet
I'd like to know a few of her secrets.
What, in staying looking young?
No. Sexual type secrets.
I see. Well,
I
have to remember who I'm talking to.
Listen to me. You know those people who are all so squeaky clean, have got all kinds of things hidden in the closet.
Oh, the bones.
Oh, I would like to talk about Marie Osmond bones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, just think, for that matter, let's talk about Cher. Let's get her bones out of the closet. I'm sure there's a lot of good stuff there.
Cher?
Yeah.
You mentioned Cher? Not the Cher.
Yeah, Cher.
Where is it? Oh!
I got you, babe.
Oh! Cher?
If I could show my thigh.
That's Cher?
Yeah.
This is a good takeoff, isn't it?
Oh, it's wonderful.
Sounds just like her.
Very sexy woman.
Yes, she is.
Incredible.
Yeah, and I'd still like to have a copy of that video so I could still frame it.
It'd be nice.
From frame to frame, man, because I'm convinced there are a couple of shots there in which she ain't got nothing on, nada.
I was going to mention earlier that there's a station.
Hi, friend.
Stan.
Yes.
There's a station locally, that you know of that is is blatantly unprofessional, okay, but I love their format, and it's kind of a younger station. It's KPX.
Yeah.
What do you think of KPX?
Weird music.
Well, you know, they have jazz, blues, everything.
Weird music.
Oh, that's for sure. Well, it's progressive.
Yes, weird music.
Remember, I'm 23, though.
Yeah, do they play Nuclear Valdez?
I claim the fifth.
Okay.
On that. I don't know
They probably have better taste than to play Nuclear Valdez, too, because it sucks.
What about WLRN?
What about WLRN?
I like their format.
Okay.
What about you?
What about me?
Do you enjoy their format, Jazz?
I don't listen to LRN.
Oh, I see.
I'm not a sude like you.
Oh, I'm 23. I work for a living. I wear a suit and tie at my first job, but I have a second job.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, listen, you like talk radio, stay tuned for Tom Leykis. He'll tell it like it is.
I like you, Stan. I'll stay tuned for you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Guy's in love with me. Look out, Lori. The guy's in love with me, okay? Boy. That's like when I left NWS during the middle of the Muriel boat lift. You know, I fled because I was getting too damn many death threats, and I got tired of it. So I went up to Philadelphia, and I was doing a nighttime show from 8 to midnight at DB in Philadelphia when I first got up there. And I got off the air. I've been there about a week, and I got off the air, and for some reason, we had a payphone at the station, which is not a bad idea, really, if you try to keep expenses down. But I got off the air, and I'm walking down the hall, and the payphone's ringing. Now, what do you do when a payphone rings? I mean, and you're walking by it. I mean, there's always the temptation to pick it up because you never know, right? So I picked it up, and there's this real sweet guy on the phone. And he says, Stan, I'm from Fort Lauderdale. Don't I know you from South Florida? And I said, I don't think so, and I hung up on him. Now, how the hell do you get the payphone number? For crying out loud. Incredible. You want to take another break? All right, let's do it. We'll be back. We will be on the phone with Tom Leykis from KFI, our sister station in Los Angeles, at 9:05. Don't miss that if you can. We'll be back on the major program on News Talk Radio 610 WIOD.
There's lots of fun in your radio this weekend, including Weekend Magazine, Alex Bennett, Joey Reynolds, Meg Green, Chris Rollins, and Stan Major, too. Now, back to Stan on News Talk Radio 610 WIOD.
I'm Frank Bartles, and this here's my partner, James Brown. As the weather starts getting too hot, we hope you will reach for one of these. New Bartles and James Brown wine cooler.
It tastes good.
They come in 3 funky flavors. Gravity grape, prime of passion fruit, and my personal favorite, papaya.
Papaya's got a brand new bag.
It'll get you off faster than a big city lawyer. And a single pack serves 6 to 10, just like James.
New Bartles and James Brown wine coolers. The cooler, made in the cooler.
Now behind bars everywhere.
Thanks for your support.
I like that. That's cute. West Palm.
Dan.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
Can you hear us up there?
Pretty good.
Really?
I'm on my cordless phone walking around the house, and I got you on in my shop.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to tell you.
Where's your shop?
I have a shop connected to my house.
No, I mean, what area? Are you like...
Well, I'm in the bedroom now walking...
No, come on. What area of West Palm do you live in?
Oh, I'm in Lake Clark Shores.
Lake Park Shores.
Lake Clark Shores.
Lake Clark Shores.
Yeah.
Okay, that's for all of our horny West Palm listeners who can't get us.
Yeah. I've got a little tiny radio in my shop, okay?
Well, that's the best kind. The tiny radios work better than the big tuners.
Well, I can get you on that radio, but in the radio in my bedroom, I can't get you. It's a boom box. So.
I can't get us on a $200 stereo tuner that Uncle Neil convinced me to buy. I can't get 610. I got to hold on to the antenna. Can you believe that?
Oh, my. As far as Nuclear Valdez,
yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, I know. You hear that, Greg? You hear that, New Times? You hear that, editor? Nuclear Valdez sucks. All right? Sorry, I got excited there.
Oh, that's all right. But a couple of callers ago,
Speaking of Evan,
lady was talking about someone, she liked everyone on IOD.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one person I never did like on WIOD.
Joe Zagacki.
No, the Bird.
The Bird.
I love Neil. I love Uncle Neil. Couldn't stand the Bird.
Well, it's going to be a hell of a show tomorrow. You going to listen tomorrow?
I can't wait. I'll listen to it all day driving around in my truck.
Well, I want Uncle Neil to know that I'm not reading this article out of the kindness of my heart. Besides, I don't want him to rip me for about a month. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Good show.
Ken? Ken?
Yeah.
It's a Ken doll, friends. It's a Ken and Barbie. Does Ken speak? Listen to Ken speak. Hi, Ken. Goodbye, Ken. It is a Ken and Barbie. Nick. Miami.
Oh, yes, man.
How are you?
How are you? Yeah.
Did I wake you up or take away from the TV or what?
Yeah, no, I'm at work.
Oh.
I was listening. I want to put in my vote for Terry Merriman tomorrow.
Oh, you're going to vote early?
Oh, yeah. Can I?
Sure.
All right.
We'll put you down for one big, dirty mark for Terry Merriman's lips. Okay?
Yeah, she is hot.
Okay. You got it, Nick.
All right, thanks a lot.
Keep working.
All right, Stan, bye-bye.
What kind of work are you doing?
I cook.
You cook?
Yeah, I cook at Mike Ranieri's old place.
What are you cooking?
Burgers and steaks and chicken.
Wow. Okay.
All right, thanks a lot.
Good to talk to you.
Bye-bye.
At Ranieri's old place? Does Ranieri have a new place? Does Ranieri have any place? Do we have another break? Okay, we'll just hang with it here. And Tom Leykis will be coming up at 9:05 after the news, if he gets off the pot in time. Well, he's got to take a little break there. He gets off the air in L.A. at 6 their time, which is 9 our time, so he's not getting much of a break. Charles!
Hello, Stanley.
How are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
Good.
Evan Lee, her voice shoots voltage to my heart when I hear her speak on the GTR set.
She shoots voltage where in your body?
To my heart.
Oh, my God. Did you call that number and tell him?
No.
Oh, come on. You got to call that number at the New Times and tell them that.
Oh, that number. Yeah, I thought you meant the radio number to request the song.
No. You got to. This guy wants people to call in and rip her.
The hell with him. He don't make my limit for me. I'm not going to make his for him.
Okay.
But I do like Evan Lee's voice.
Have you ever seen her?
Never. I've got a spy report for her.
She's pretty.
Oh, I think that from
She is a pretty brunette.
And not blonde?
She's a brunette.
I'm so glad.
Short-haired brunette.
I'm glad that you told me that.
Well, not too short, right, Eric?
No, I thought she was blonde.
Yeah, sometimes she wears it up, you can't tell.
No,
when she wears it down, it's like shoulder length.
You know how you have television in your mind,
Yeah.
Theater of the mind. I thought she was blonde-headed.
No.
Beach type.
No.
No, she really shoots voltage to my heart.
Well, you will be happy to know that you have good taste, because she looks as good as she sounds.
I've got a spy report, though.
All right.
This is about Meatloaf.
Mm-hmm.
Meatloaf.
You had it for dinner, right?
No. He did a show that's on Friday nights when I should have been out. It's called Monsters. Did you know that?
No.
He did Monsters.
Really?
And he played the mad scientist.
I'll be darned.
It's a true story. And the pretty woman that's, the dark-haired woman that sometimes is on Cheers.
Yeah.
And she plays the psychiatrist. Oh, God almighty. This is going to be boring. No.
The psychiatrist's girlfriend, right?
His wife now.
Yeah.
She's pregnant. And she did another show later where she played a witch that turned men into pigs. It was great. And she's a very pretty woman.
Sounds like some former girlfriends of mine.
Well, she never turned you in.
Just a joke, Charles,
She
okay?
never turned you in no pigs, Stanley. You're a gentleman and a radio.
Good. Yeah, I am a radio.
I mean a radio man.
Whatever. Good to hear from you, Charles.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Broward, Pembroke Pines.
Hey, Stan. It's good to know that talk radio is alive and well when you're at the Sennheiser. Nice to know.
When I'm at the what?
Sennheiser microphone.
Oh, is that what we got? Wait a minute.
Might be a Neumann. Who knows?
Wait a minute. I never even checked here. Yeah, it's a Sennheiser.
See that?
Wow.
See that?
Incredible.
Well, listen,
Are you a radio guy?
No. My family and I moved down here from Cincinnati, I guess, this past year, and we were tainted thinking that we were blessed with great AM radio with Gary Burbank up there. And needless to say...
Wait a minute. Where'd you move from?
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, yeah.
Yeah. But, well, the reason I'm calling, besides the fact my son's coming in, I think he has to...
No, that's okay.
It's okay. You want to say hi to Stan? Say hi to Stan. No, he don't want to say hi to Stan.
How old is he?
He just turned 3.
Really?
He just turned 3. Well, you need to help me with some rumor control here.
What's that?
My wife works for one of your competitors up north, an AM/FM family, and the talk around the sales staff today was that both you and Glenn Hill were going to be at GTR real soon. Can you please tell me that that's unmitigated lies, that it's absolutely not true?
I can't speak for Glenn Hill, but as far as this company is concerned, I don't see how they could ever offer me a real job, okay? So don't worry about it.
Okay, well...
All right?
Well,
I mean, I only got them a 9-1 cum for afternoon drive, but they're not interested in talking to me, okay?
Well, listen, it gives me a great cause in life to know now that it's like the law. If I'm going to listen to Stan Majors, I have to have my headlights on. And it gives me great purpose.
Thank you.
Listen, God bless. Take care.
Good to talk to you, John.
Bye.
Charlie.
Stan.
Fort Lauderdale.
You bet. I've been waiting a long time.
I'm worth it, Charlie.
Oh, I know. Hey, Stan, I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I'm down here on a job for about 5 months.
I'm from Texas, and I'm a bull shipper.
Me too. But, Stan, I listen to KRLD there in Dallas, and I listen to K-Lift. One problem I got with the news radio and the talk radio down here is I want to know, why is everybody so mean about the other talk show hosts, Stan?
I don't know.
I've heard Neil badmouth everybody. I've heard Alex badmouth people. Stan, on Sunday, you got into it a little bit. Why is that? I mean, I never hear any of that in Dallas.
You mean Bob
time down here, but
you mean Bob Gold doesn't do that in Dallas?
Well, no, he does.
I caught you, didn't I?
He does.
Okay.
He does. And
and that's why he's even famous in Miami, because he does that. Okay. Hey, listen, I'm out of time. I got to go for the news. Good to hear from you.
Okay. Hey, I enjoy the show.
Thank you, Charlie. Welcome to South Florida. Now go home. Go back to Dallas. Believe me. Go back to Dallas, if you can. All right, we're going to break here for the news, and then we will be back with or without Tom Leykis on the telephone from KFI in Los Angeles on the major program on News Talk Radio 610 WIOD.
News Talk Radio 610 WIOD presents Stan Major. Call 751-WIOD from Dade County. In Broward, it's 524-WIOD. Or 655-WIOD in the Palm Beaches. The opinions expressed by the guest hosts or callers are not necessarily those of the station. Now, Stan Major on News Talk Radio 610 WIOD.
Well, how was your day, Uncle Tommy?
Well, I just want to say this one thing at the beginning, Stan. My opinions are the opinions of the radio station and of the company.
Cox Broadcasting.
Yeah, because I work for Cox, and I'm telling you this is official. My opinions are the official opinions of the company.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Now, you just did 4 hours afternoon drive in L.A. What is it like to do afternoon drive in L.A. when you know that everybody is out there killing themselves on those stupid freeways?
Well, they're not only killing themselves on the stupid freeways, but we have a lot of other things happening here in town. The president, George Bush, and his lackey, Dan Quayle, are here in town.
Oh, God. They're in the same place at the same time?
They're in the same place at the same time. They're meeting with Governor Deukmejian, and what's happening is outside the Century Plaza Hotel, thousands of demonstrators are demonstrating on an issue that has nothing to do with the president. They're demonstrating about malathion spraying to eradicate the medfly. So that's an insane scene happening over there right now. And we've been dealing with this malathion issue. Everybody's going crazy. They're going stark raving mad over this.
Now, this sounds like a real Tom Leykis issue.
Oh, we're having a field day with this. They don't know what we have planned for them next week, but we've got a demonstration plan that's going to blow them all away.
Does this have anything to do with bulldozers?
Not this time, but you never know. Doesn't take a bulldozer to nail a medfly, you know?
Well, I was sure sorry to hear that you bulldozed all those Harry Chapin records. I like those.
Harry Chapin? It was Cat Stevens. Harry Chapin. My God.
And your buddy Rob Edwards quit? Oh, what was his name?
Oh, Jeff Edwards.
Jeff Edwards. See,
he resigned.
I'm getting old, okay? I don't know Harry Chapin from Jeff Edwards.
Well, you're the right city there, Stan. What can I say?
That's the way it begins to affect you when you're down here long enough, okay?
You realize WIOD is the only talk station in Miami on which I haven't appeared.
Is that true?
This is my first appearance on WIOD. Ever.
Well, nobody wanted you, Tom.
I know that.
No, I'm just kidding. I was talking to Neil the other day, and he'd say, boy, it would be sure great to get Tom Leykis on the phone.
Did he say that?
No, not really. But
I didn't think so.
Nah, listen. Why don't you two bury the hatchet? Why don't you say something nice about him, and I'm sure he'll rip you to pieces tomorrow.
I'm sure he will.
Well, what can I do?
I haven't had anything bad to say about Neil lately.
I got a higher cum than he did in this last book, and boy, he's been ripping me like mad. Don't pay any attention to those ratings, Major. It doesn't make any difference. They're not going to hire you. Don't pay any attention. It's a lost cause, Major. Goes on and on and on. Oh, God.
Funny stuff.
Yes, right. Yeah, you think it's funny. My career is going down the tubes, and you think it's funny.
Hey, look, Stan, we've all been there.
I know. Let's talk about Phoenix.
Let's talk about Phoenix.
No, let's don't talk about Phoenix and bore everybody to... Now, come on, what's going on in wonderful Hollywood? Now, there must be so many things to talk about out there.
Well, of course, the Star has been telling us that Chastity Bono is a lesbian.
Oh, boy.
And so that's been a big topic of conversation.
Oh, we could do 4 hours on that here.
Oh, the Star is saying that Cher is a lesbian, that Chastity is a lesbian, and the Inquirer is saying that she's not. She's straight. So they're having this little battle on the streets here.
What else is happening? Something really exciting must be happening. Now, it isn't the Medfly, and it isn't Chastity. Come on, give us the real lowdown on what's going on. Let's talk about your competition, for instance.
Oh, you want to talk about the competition for a moment?
What exciting things is KBC up to these days?
Well, KBC is not doing anything exciting right now.
Stalling until Dodger baseball, right?
Dodger baseball, and let's see, they have Ira Fistel doing the history of Roman numerals.
Oh, God.
It's 40, I swear to you, Stan, it sounds like a funny joke.
Mm-hmm.
But he did 40 minutes one night on the history of Roman numerals, and I would swear the majority of the callers could probably remember when Roman numerals were still in use.
Now, how do you find your callers out there? Are they younger than what you're used to?
Well, the callers are very young here. I'm surprised. These are probably the youngest callers I've ever talked to at a radio station.
To what do you attribute that? Your content, the stuff you talk about, the topics, the guests, what?
I think partly it's that. I think it's partly that FM radio has just gone down the tubes. There's no personality on FM radio here.
Now, you can't say that on KFI. You have the #1 sister station in the market, KOST.
Well, yes. But let's face facts. Every music station in this town has people on the air telling you they're going to play 10 songs in a row, and they're continuous music. And anytime they use the words continuous music on the air, what they mean is there's no personality of any kind.
I love it when they pre-promo the fact that they're going to do the weather.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to hang in for that. There's a 976 number for that, isn't there?
I love that.
I mean, give me a break. We have news stations.
That's going to build a cum, man, getting those people to hang on for the weather.
Oh, yeah. I want to know the temperature in Torrance, boy. I'm going to stay tuned for that. Give me a break.
Now, listen, when I was doing Afternoon Drive here, I had a lot of interruptions. Do you have a lot of interruptions out there?
Sure. Oh, are you kidding? Traffic and news and commercials. I think it's a new format. We're going all commercials now.
Now, wait a minute. What kind of traffic reports does KFI do?
Well, we have about 6 an hour, and they come from a plane.
6 an hour?
Yeah.
Hasn't the management out there learned that it doesn't make any difference in Los Angeles? You can tell them about the traffic 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It still isn't going to change anything.
Well, we suggest alternate routes. For example, you could go through Nevada if the Pacific Coast Highway is busy. Going east to west, you could try Oregon. Is always good.
How do you like driving in Los Angeles?
It's the worst part of it. I got to tell you, I spent more money detailing my car and fixing up dings and dents in my car than I have on just about anything else. I just took my car into the body shop today. I had a little vandalism on my car.
Oh, my goodness. Even in Los Angeles?
$950 worth of vandalism. It's very nice.
Oh, boy. I didn't think that went on out there.
Oh, no.
Gee.
No, I have a red car. I probably drove through the Crips neighborhood or something where it should have been a blue car. I don't know.
Incredible. Now, what do you do? What do you do on the air? What kind of show does Tom Leykis do in the afternoon in Los Angeles?
Well, it's all different stuff. I mean, sometimes we talk about hard issues and we yell and scream at each other and throw things.
Hey, are you still the great liberal that you used to be?
Well, of course.
You haven't changed your mind?
Oh, no.
You haven't wised up?
Wised up.
You haven't been bugged?
Are you pandering to the Cubans again, Stan? What's going on down there?
No, not at all. Now, what's your ratio of like open phones or non-guest segments to guest segments?
About 65% of my show is non-guest.
Mm-hmm.
It's open. The other 35% is guest. And we take calls a little faster here, I guess, only because you have such a number of callers. I'll tell you one thing. Of all the cities I've worked, and you've worked in those cities, you probably can confirm this, I never got less calls in a major market than I got in Miami. Never.
That's probably true.
And Los Angeles, by the same token, it's an embarrassment of riches. You look down and you say 3 words, and you haven't given out the number yet, and already every line is lit just about every day of the week.
Gee, Neil would love that.
Oh, let me tell you. I mean, they call, and this radio station has and I've never had the benefit of working for a station with this kind of a signal. Usually I work for stations that have Cuban interference, or Hopi interference, or Navajo interference, or some kind of interference. This station has a clear channel signal. I mean, we're heard all the way up to San Francisco and out to Palm Springs and down across the Mexican border.
Even daytime?
Even in the daytime. And at night it goes to 11 states. And so we get just an incredible number of calls. I was doing a show where I was attacking Bobby Berasini, the guy who has the orangutans in Las Vegas. He was listening and called in.
Great.
From Las Vegas. So it's kind of hard to comprehend. It's huge.
Well, he was still talking about you down here a couple of weeks ago.
Who, Bobby was?
Yeah.
Was he on the air there?
No, I'm just kidding.
He's been going around. He's drowning. He's trying to save himself here because it's kind of hard to defend yourself when you're
the orangutans
over the head with a wooden stick.
The animals were talking about you, actually, Tom.
Who was?
The orangutans.
Oh, they were?
They were all for you.
I bet they were, too. Gee. Stan.
You miss Miami.
I love Miami. In fact, I'm going to be in Miami the second week in March.
Why?
Because my accountant is still in Miami.
Oh, God.
And every spring, what I do is I take my trip to the accountant, and then after my 2 or 3 hours with my accountant over on Biscayne Boulevard, I head down to the Keys for a week.
Wow.
So I'll be doing that again this year.
Are you going to have any time to drop by?
Absolutely.
But I'd love to have you come in. Well, if I'm here, okay? I mean, it might be Yankees baseball by that time. Who knows? It might. Of course, it may be no baseball. I mean, can you imagine KBC without the Dodgers this year?
Boy, the way the Dodgers played last year, I hope the Dodgers play 300 games this year. I hope they're playing the Atlanta Braves every other day. I really do.
The biggest news out of the Dodgers was Tommy Lasorda's weight loss.
Oh, man. And those damn Rolaids commercials and Slim Fast commercials. This guy's done more to his system. This guy's done more to destroy himself. I can't believe this man is Mr. Gastroenterologist. It's just incredible.
Whatever he tried to say. Would you like to take some phone calls?
Sure.
All right, you want to set this up for us, Eric? Because I dialed him, so I don't know what the hell you're going to do here, okay? Put him on hold. We have to do a break anyway, right? Hold on. We have to do 2 breaks? We have to do 1 break. We don't do any breaks. No, we got to... This is a well-produced program, okay?
Unbelievable.
Isn't that incredible?
Jeez.
Write it on the computer. Don't talk to me. Yes, I will put him on hold, which is exactly what I was going to do before you started confusing me. Don't put him on hold. Do put him on hold. Jeez. Incredible. The help you get today, Tom, is just incredible. And this is the best board op we got in the building, believe it.
Is it really?
Yes, really.
Oh.
All right, we're going to put you on the phone with Tom Leykis. Let me give out the phone number. In Dade, it's 751-9463. Broward, 524-WIOD. Boca Del Rey is 278-9463. And if you've got the best radio in the world in Palm Beach, you might be able to hear us if it's sitting next to a window. 655-WIOD.
And in Overtown, it's 911-WIOD.
Whatever. Yes. And we'll be back with Tom Leykis on the Stan Major talk program on News Talk Radio 610 WIOD.
right now. Set your bedside alarm clock radio to wake up to Mike Ranieri tomorrow morning. Now, back to Stan Major on News Talk Radio 610 WIOD.
All right, Tom Leykis from KFI in Los Angeles does have phone calls. Which
is that the music Mike is playing nowadays?
Who knows?
Boy, it's changed a lot over the years.
What can I tell you, okay? I think Chapin picks it out.
I see.
And you never know what he's going to pick out. Now, when were you at WNWS?
84 and 85.
Okay. Before they ran you out of town.
Well, I get run out of every town I'm in, as you know.
Well, what can I tell you? All right, let's take some calls for young Tom Leykis in Los Angeles. Let's go to Palm Beach. Mitch?
Hey.
Lake Worth. Excuse me, Lake Worth.
Yeah, by the way, my radio is near the window, and I do have a tone control, which knocks out the Cuban radio interference.
Fantastic. Well, when Fidel hears that, he'll double the wattage.
Uh-oh. Tom.
Yeah.
About two and a half months ago, whatever, you were on Larry King Live.
Yes.
With the famous Reverend, which I can't remember his name.
Ed McEntee.
And I happened to stay on hold for about a half an hour with What's the Question, and I asked about the DJs being jammed on by the FCC, et cetera, with what they say on the air and this and that. And I asked the Reverend about why can Oprah and Geraldo or whatever and their audience and whatever get away with the so-called slang words for orgasm and breasts? And he just had the basic little answer as, well, we haven't had those complaints. And
is that so?
If you remember that.
I certainly remember it. Ed McEntee, you should know, by the way, was the other guest on Larry King that night.
Right.
Is a reverend who George Bush has to the White House on a regular basis to consult on appointments to the Federal Communications Commission. So this is fascinating stuff because now look who we're checking with here. We're checking with a guy who says it's okay for, I guess, frontal nudity to be on TV in Kansas City because it was on after 8 o'clock at night. And it's not okay to say certain words on the radio, which I'd love to say here, but I can't.
Oh, come on, Tom. We only got fined recently.
Well, that's true. In fact, I got fined the same day you guys got fined.
Yeah, you ruined all of Neil's publicity.
Oh, is that what it was?
Listen to IOD in the afternoon. They get away with murder. Right?
Well, I do get to listen to WIOD once in a while. I'll be in town next month, and I'll be listening. But it's insane. They're so inconsistent on this stuff. By the way, at the same time that my station was fined $6,000, which happened after that Larry King show, by the way, there's a radio station here in Los Angeles called K-Rock. It's a new wave radio station. They play a song on the air here called 88 Lies About 44 Girls by a group called The Nails. This song is replete with four-letter words, and it is played on a regular basis. In fact, a disc jockey on there taunted me with it the other day, said, here's a record that Tom Leykis would love to play, but he can't. Then he went on and played it. Oh, this station has been fined by the FCC. My question is, can 7 people sitting in Washington, D.C. fairly police 10,000 radio stations across the country? I don't think they can.
Well, real quick, and I'll let you guys stand. What I heard is that if they don't get the complaints from the TV shows and only from the radio shows, then they only act on the complaints that they get. And to me, that's like, if they're going to police something, they should police it all and not just pick out a certain few.
Well, let me tell you, there was one attorney in Coral Gables who created the fines for Neil Rogers. If it hadn't been for that one guy, nothing would have happened, okay?
Okay, Stan.
And, he had his witch hunt, and he's gone bye-bye, and that's it.
All right.
Good to talk to you.
Okay.
Thank you. Tom?
Yes.
What was it that you had the problem with? According to what Broadcasting Magazine said, it wasn't you or your show, it was callers.
It was callers to the show.
Yeah.
And in one case, it was a guest.
Yeah.
The guest was a man who ran a dating service for women who only like to date well-endowed men.
Yeah.
The callers to the show were recounting experiences they had, and if you look at the transcripts of the shows, my participation in the conversation was to go, really? And then what happened? Oh, yeah? That's my whole side of the dialogue. I didn't play any satirical songs on the air or make any statements or use any dirty words. I mean, it's one thing to say that the broadcaster is being obscene or indecent on the air. It's another thing when you're now censoring the callers and the guests on talk shows. It's insane.
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, you would have been sitting there all alone that week if it hadn't been for this one nudnik. So what can I tell you?
Yeah, you're right.
They have to get the complaint, and they have to get a formalized complaint, and they have to get a copy of what was said. And when I say copy, it's got to be like an air check copy.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, they don't pay any attention to it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You can write as many letters as you want to, but if you don't have the material to back it up, and that's what most normal listeners or viewers do. If they get upset about something they see or they hear, they decide that they will sit down and write a letter to Washington.
Well, for example, I'd like to know what the Federal Communications Commission is going to do about the ABC television network, because about 2 weeks ago they had a show called the American Music Awards, where a man called Slash from a band called Guns N' Roses went on and used the F word twice.
Yep.
On live television. Well, they apologized for it. Now, is that supposed to be sufficient? It's certainly worse than anything I said on my program.
That's true.
I don't get it.
I don't either. And it's not improving with the makeup of the commission now.
It's only going to get worse.
Incredible. All right, let's take another call for Tom Leykis. We have a line available in Dade, 751-9463. Chris in Miami, you're on with Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Hi.
I've got a kind of a question. I'm kind of new to talk radio. I've just started listening like in the last couple of weeks, and it's really got me hooked.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've heard so far, talk radio show hosts have to go through a lot of garbage. They take a lot of garbage.
Yeah, we do.
I've heard in the Miami market and everything. They've got to take so much garbage. Why do they keep doing it? And why do you know what I mean? It's like just what makes them keep going. It blows me away.
Well, I'm glad you called in because you're talking to two guys who got stepped on by management in Phoenix in very much the same way for simply doing our job. And, I got canned for going on the air, and Tom will back this up, and mentioning the word Arbitron.
That's right.
Which you can say on the air, and there's no problem in saying it. But I got fired for doing that.
Why?
And, that's what I asked, and that's what my attorney asked, and I ended up back at that station. But Tom had similar problems with management there, and we do get kicked around a lot, and whereas a disc jockey on FM can pretty well get away with almost anything they want to do. And I find that if you're on FM, there's a lot more leeway for some strange reason with what you can do. For instance, how many FM stations in the recent fines showed up in the recent fines?
No, the thing is with FM stations, you've got a lot more music. When you're talk radio, it's just you guys and the callers and maybe some guests.
Yeah, there's more time for us to say something that's going to offend somebody.
Well, let's take a real pragmatic look at this, Stan. An awful lot of people participated in that pay raise campaign against Congress. And a number of congressmen openly suggested that we ought to look at re-amending the First Amendment. They actually said this to Broadcasting Magazine. And an awful lot of these guys were stung by not getting their raises. So look how conveniently the tide shifted. I mean, it used to be Howard Stern they were after, who's on FM, of course.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, after the pay raise didn't go through, it was all AM radio stations, primarily talk show hosts.
Very interesting.
I've still got the question, what is it about talk radio that just keeps you guys going from place to place, keeping your market and everything like that? Because, I know with you, Stan, I've heard what you've gone through, and it's like, this blows me away why you'd even stay with IOD and just not kind of just tell them where they can go and it just, but there's
Well, I did tell them where they could go. They offered me this slot, and I said I wasn't interested in it. And then a week later, certain things happened, and I said, all right, I'll come back and I'll do it, that kind of thing. And but we do get kicked around a lot. And I don't know, Tom, are you addicted?
I think what it is, Stan, is that it's what I know how to do, is to talk. There aren't too many jobs where you can just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's what I do best. Recently here in L.A., I did a stand-up comedy act for 2 hours, which was basically completely improvised. This is what I know how to do. I can't fix my car. I don't have the attention span to sit down and do paperwork in an office and come into a 9-to-5 job every day. What I do best is talk. And this is a job that provides you with the opportunity to do that and to do it in such a way that I think it's the most creative thing someone like me can do. And it's probably the same thing's true for Stan and Neil and everybody else.
Well, I guess I can't speak for you because I don't hear you, but Stan, I hope you guys keep going for a while. I really...
All right, good to hear from you. Thank you.
Take care, bye.
Okay. God, I hate call waiting.
Oh, man.
It'll drive you nuts.
Don't people know how to cancel their call waiting?
No, they don't want to do that because, the call might be more important than what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
What can I tell you? If you'd like to talk to Tom Leykis from KFI in Los Angeles, some lines available for you. Dade is 751-9463, and Broward is 524-WIOD. If you're in Boca, that's 278. Palm Beach is 655-9463 or WIOD. And let's go to Howard in Coral Springs. You're on with Tom.
Tom.
Howard.
How are you? You're
I'm
a breath
fine.
of fresh air. I did listen to you in Phoenix. In fact, I moved from the Phoenix area about 6 years ago. In fact, I feel that I almost escaped out of there before the Christian militiamen of Barry Young took over.
Did you hear Stan in Phoenix?
What?
Did you hear Stan in Phoenix?
No, I don't think so, or I don't remember if he was on the same station, but I would say that when you were in charge there, I felt that it was a tremendously creative unit that you created, the battle of the talk show hosts. I listened to that. Your show was hilarious and was the next best thing to Howard Stern, since I also had come from the New York area. But I think one of the things I kind of take up against Neil is that he claims that you cannot have an issues-oriented talk show because you can't solve the world's problems. And I think Phoenix bears out an interesting thing with Governor Meekum, which was an extraordinary era in living anywhere.
I certainly think that radio talk shows were part of the undoing. In fact, the press secretary to Ev Meekum, who was a fellow named Smith. I can't remember his first name now because he was. There were so many press secretaries to Evan Meekum in Arizona. They said point blank that if it wasn't for talk radio, Meekum would still be in office today, which he thought was an attack on talk radio. I think actually was a compliment.
I think it was an incredible time to be around anywhere and an incredible place to be around because the people actually undid the government there.
Well, I understand. You know what? Having worked in Miami, which I did for 2 years, I understand Neil's point of view. If I were working in Miami, I'd probably have the same attitude about an issue-oriented talk show. It's very hard to get people motivated. There are so many diverse factions, and frankly, a lot of people come to Miami to escape problems. They come to South Florida to escape problems. In fact, they leave Miami and head up to Hallandale to escape problems. I mean, in other parts of the country, though, I think issue-oriented talk shows are not only viable, but they're clearly getting audiences. And anybody, and the thing is, I don't think you can solve all the problems of the world with a talk show. But I think there are certain things that talk shows can do. Let's face it, talk radio did cancel the congressional pay raise the first time around. And in Arizona, it was the undoing of a governor. So it does happen. And Jerry Williams has been doing it in Boston for, 25 or 30 years. Whether you like him or you don't, a lot of things change. The seatbelt law changed in Massachusetts as a result of that show. Other things changed. I mean, even Neil himself in Miami in 1980 was involved in stopping the boat lift. And while it didn't stop the boat lift, at least he got people angry, and they did something about it. They wrote in and they got involved at that time. So I think there are a lot of things you can do with talk radio.
Well, wait a minute. What's the attitude with regard to this in Los Angeles? Because in Los Angeles, you have a lot of people who move away from this kind of thing to go to California. Similar to coming down here.
I think it's a little different because California is much more urban than Florida. I mean, when you consider that the Los Angeles and the San Diego metropolitan areas now basically overlap, and Los Angeles goes as far north almost as Santa Barbara, and then San Francisco is huge. I think you've got more urban areas. People are more aware of urban problems here. I think they know they're not escaping. Whereas in Florida, let's face it, there's Miami, and there's that whole megalopolis there. But really, could you say that Jacksonville or even Orlando or Tampa are as big as Miami or
we don't
have
even
the same
want
kind of problems?
We don't even want to talk about Orlando down here.
Well, there you go. It's just not the same. You know, here you got urban problems all over the state. You got big metropolitan areas, several of them all close together. I mean, take a look. You got 5 Major League Baseball teams in this state. So it's that kind of a place.
I just wanted to ask one more question. I don't know how you parted with Jamie McFerrin, but she was an extremely intelligent woman, and I know how hard it is for women to get established in the talk market. Whatever happened to her? Because I know right when I left, she was also on her way out.
Well, I don't want to bore everybody in Miami. I'll just give you a quick answer to that. Jamie McFerrin, a talk show host I worked with in Phoenix, has just recently resurfaced in Phoenix on the competing station, KTAR, doing the overnight show.
She has an excellent personality. Stan, you're doing a great job. I think that some of the issues that you've been bringing up throughout your talk show are viable ones. I think that there's more to radio than belching, burping, and eating.
All right, thank you.
And I think that it's a disservice to the intelligent people in the marketplace that somehow seems to be all there is. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Howard. All right, let's take a mobile phone for Tom Leykis. The good old cranks in Miami. You never know where they're going to pop up.
Boy, you're not kidding about that.
All right, let me give out the phone numbers. If you'd like to talk to Tom Leykis from KFI in Los Angeles, 751-9463 in Dade. Broward is 524-WIOD. The Boca Del Rey number is 278-9463. Palm Beach is 655-WIOD. Barbara.
Yes.
How are you?
Just fine, thank you. I want to talk to Tom.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi. You know, Tom, what I miss more than anything else down here is Carol Hemingway from KGIL in Los Angeles. I think she's one of the best talk show hosts. Are you familiar with her?
Oh, yeah. She's my direct competition.
Is she really?
Yes, she is.
She is absolutely fantastic. And what I miss so much down here is the way they talk about issues in Los Angeles, whereas here you don't get that.
Well, you know why? I'll tell you something, Barbara. You know why you don't get it? Because I worked there in 1984, 1985, and the reason you don't get that is because the audience hasn't supported it.
You mean I'm talking about here?
I'm talking about Miami.
Yeah.
Because the audience hasn't supported that kind of talk radio anymore.
And
they did, but they don't anymore.
Yes, you see, and that really amazes me because otherwise I think it becomes rather boring to just listen to the, chit-chat that goes on in the, during the day and even in the evening.
Yeah.
And this is no reflection on you, Stan.
Sure it is.
No,
we don't talk about.
I just wish...
Now, Barbara, come on.
No,
now, Barbara. Barbara.
Okay, what?
You're talking about me because we don't deal for the most part with issues on this program.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about.
Well, let me in defense of the kind of talk that you now hear on WIOD, let me explain something to you, Barbara.
Yeah. Okay.
It's called revenue. It's called advertisers. It's called listeners. And where over at down the street at WNWS, they're doing the same thing that they've been doing for I don't know how many years, ever since we put that station on the air back in the 76 or 77. They're doing exactly the same thing there. They have a minuscule audience compared to this radio station. All right? Now, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to solve the problems of the world and not have any advertisers? Or do you want us to have advertisers and do the kind of thing that we do, which is basically entertainment-oriented talk?
Yeah, but Stan, when I listen to KABC, when I listen to Michael Jackson or Carol Hemingway, they have plenty of sponsors. And I think Tom will admit to that, too. It isn't just all talk and no sponsors. I don't think they could run a show.
Well, you know what? Miami and Los Angeles are two different places.
I know it.
As I was saying earlier, Barbara, I think a lot of people come to Miami to escape their problems, whereas you cannot escape them here in Southern California. You've got to talk about them. In Miami, this kind of talk radio, talking about issues, was around for a long time. But you know what? You look at the ratings, and you look at the debris of stations like WINZ and WNWS and WGBS, and you see all the stations that did that and that don't do that anymore.
Yeah, Well, it's
let me tell you something else. If there were money to be made in it, somebody would be doing it right now.
Yeah, well, it's strange because I just feel that it holds your interest to listen to the issues of the day, and I couldn't help but think during the time that Bush sent 25,000 troops down to Panama, I imagine that Carol Hemingway was talking about nothing else but that.
Well, I'd have to imagine that, too, because I don't listen to Carol Hemingway.
You don't?
I'm on opposite Carol Hemingway.
On the same time, huh?
The exact same time. You were here.
Okay, well, I had listened to you, too, on KBC.
Well, I don't think you did. I think you were listening to Carol Hemingway.
But mostly, I listened to Carol because
Tom.
I found her so exciting. And
oh, thanks a lot, Barbara.
I'm going to send Carol a copy of this.
What?
I'm going to send Carol a copy of this.
Oh, yeah, thanks a lot, Stan. You do that.
I wish you would. I really wish
Maybe she'll play it.
The same company I do.
Maybe she'll play it.
And then also, well, I will hear it.
Come on, Barbara. That kind of talk is old hat. Come on.
No, I don't think so, Stan.
It is,
also,
believe
Michael
me.
Jackson, he too, is he still on KABC?
Well, yes, he is. He's still on.
Why?
Well, that's what we want to know.
Well, I'm saying all of these people, and I know KFI, I've listened to KFI too, but when I hit...
yeah, but you really like that Carol Hemingway, huh?
I just couldn't wait until 2 o'clock in the afternoon rolled around.
Well, I don't know what the Laser Hemorrhoid Center would do without Carol. I'll tell you, she's bringing in those leads like crazy.
Yeah, and John Sweeney. Well,
and the Arthritis Center and the nursing homes.
Now,
those
Tom,
people are just prospering like you wouldn't believe.
Anyway, I think we need more of that here.
Okay, Barb.
Okay.
Thank you. FTL is now doing that kind of talk, by the way.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah, Dick Farrell landed over there very quickly.
Oh, boy, it's great the way they have these Betty Ford clinics for talk show hosts down there. It's there's always a place for Lee Fowler and Craig Worthing. They're all down there.
Yep, that's it.
It's kind of like the way they keep rerunning Mr. Ed, you thought that show was going to be gone, and it just keeps coming back to haunt you. And I'm sure Alan Courtney's on a station down there somewhere.
Oh, now, come on, Tom. Let's not get carried away. Listen, I want to ask you something about the kind of things that happen when personality moves into Los Angeles radio. Because a lot of them end up on quiz shows. They end up doing, cable television stuff. You mentioned that you were doing a comedy routine.
Yeah.
What are you, how many fingers do you have in different things right now?
Well, right now all I've done is the stand-up comedy thing, and I do guest shots occasionally on TV shows. I've been offered 4 different game shows, but I've turned them down because I saw what happened to Jeff Edwards and Wink Martindale, each of whom were doing talk shows, and everybody would say, oh, yeah, that's the game show host who does a talk show.
Yeah.
So you have no credibility if you go into that, and a lot of people have done that. It's happened several times. The stand-up comedy act was an outgrowth of the radio show. It was called Everything They Won't Let Me Do on the Radio, and we talked a lot about radio and about the FCC and that kind of thing. And I'm talking to television people. In fact, I shot a TV pilot last year, but I was real glad that it didn't get picked up because what started off to be a talk show after it went into the mix ended up looking like a combination of the Newlywed Game and the People's Court. And I'm not exaggerating.
Wow.
It was terrible, so I'm so glad it didn't go anywhere. But certainly there's a lot of opportunities to do things here, but also the producers here look at the disc jockeys and the talk show hosts as a well of cheap talent. And anytime you see a disc jockey like Bob Eubanks or Jim Lang or any of these guys doing talk shows, really they're doing it to save money because they figure most of these guys are too poor or too ugly to be on TV, and so they get them cheap.
Incredible. All right, let's take a break, and we'll be back. If you'd like to talk to Tom Leykis, the lines and date are all tied up. You're hot, Tom. Broward is available, 524, not so hot in Broward, 524-WIOD.
They never like being Broward.
Yeah, well, what can I tell you? We'll be back with Tom Leykis from KFI in Los Angeles right after this.
Listen to 610 WIOD all day long for great personalities like Mike Ranieri, Neil Rogers, and Alex Bennett. And every evening, of course, it's Stan Major. Now, back to Stan on News Talk Radio 610 WIOD.
And we're back with Tom Leykis, KFI in Los Angeles, talk show host extraordinaire, star of the Larry King Show, the Geraldo Rivera Show, the Phil Donahue Show, and God only knows what else. I'll never forget that guy standing up in the Donahue Show and mentioning my name, and you just sat there with this blank look on your face.
You know how hard it is to get a word in.
Yeah,
sure. 6
sure.
other big mouths up there.
Yeah, right. I didn't see Jerry Williams zap me on Donahue. He had a great chance. But,
well, see, you lucked out there.
What can I tell you? Listen, are you involved in any big campaigns? Are you trying to recall any politicians?
Our next big campaign stand is going to be to stop malathion spray.
Oh, okay.
Because everybody is really, really upset about this. Okay. I mean, it didn't start out that way, but people are really starting to panic now.
Sounds like a real winner, Tom.
Well, if you were here, you would be upset about it. I mean, I'm sure it's not a big problem where you are, but here it is.
A paycheck is a big problem down here, Tom.
Well, soon they'll eradicate that along with the medfly, maybe. You never know.
Yeah, right. Thanks a lot. All right, let's take some calls. Let's go to L.J. at the University of Miami.
Hey, babe.
Or he claims he's at the University of Miami. We've never really figured it out.
How you doing tonight, Tom?
I'm fine.
Oh, great. I'm actually talking to you. Now, you brought up the Donahue show. That was you all decked out in leather on that show and the sunglasses?
That was me.
Tom loves leather.
You look like Deion Sanders, only and oh well, you sound better than he does, though.
Thank you for that.
What do you think? Trailblazers have a 1 point. On the current line has them by 1 point over the Lakers tonight. How about that?
Not a prayer, LJ. Let me tell you. Take that bet.
Did he tell you I'm also from Portland?
He didn't tell me that, but take that bet.
Okay, I wanted to.
I thought they busted all the bookies down here, LJ. They did. Have they been busting bookies out there?
No, you know what they did? Right across the street from the station. We're in the Koreatown area here. And right across the street from the station, a few old men were playing chess and were gambling quarters.
Oh, boy.
And the cops, who I guess don't have anything better to do, all we have is crack, drive-by shootings, street gangs, the whole place is going down the tank. They went in and busted these little old men who were playing chess out here. It's really wonderful. We've got the priorities straight here, let me tell you.
All right.
All right. Well, let me get to my question.
What's that question?
Okay, what's the question, Larry? I noticed on that state there were 6 of you there, and I just wondered how could 6 people. I don't mean this as an insult. Please don't get mad at me here. But I mean 6 people with enormous egos. How did they get along? Do you guys actually buddy around after the show and that? You and Bobby Grant?
Nobody buddies around after those shows.
Well, thank God for that.
Let me tell you something about these shows, okay? See, this is something they do, all of them, okay? Because I've been on them all now, except for Sally. I've done Oprah, I've done Donahue, I did the Downey show when there was a Downey show. What they generally do is they want to make us look as insane as possible. All those wild and wacky talk shows. So what they do is they put so many of us on. And everybody is trying to get their 3 seconds, so they can promote themselves and get their next job, you see, especially the guys from Seattle and places like that. They want to get their next job, so we just all start shouting over each other until nobody can understand a damn word anybody says.
Yeah, but they're looking at the guy with the leather jacket.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. You see, you got to dress because there's no way you're going to get anything to say of substance on there.
Yeah.
So you might as well dress differently from the rest of them.
It was interesting. I believe you were the only one who said you were against the death penalty.
That's right.
I thought that was interesting. I was impressed by that. Hey, Stan.
Well, Jerry Williams was against it until the guy held him up over at NWS.
Hey, Stan. Stan, buddy. Stan, buddy.
What?
I said I finally had a good call. It took me a year.
That's it, LJ.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Call
Bye,
again
LJ.
in another year, LJ, okay? Have you been offered any acting jobs off of those shows? I mean...
Stan, you wouldn't believe it. I was offered a job in a movie of the week playing an MC at a rock concert. This is absolutely true. I had to turn it down because it was 13 days of shooting, and all of them happened to be right when I'm on the air. So I don't know how it could take 13 days of shooting to get that part straight, but that's a true one. The other one, I did a voice for the new cartoon show, The Simpsons, where I played a telephone talk show host,
wow.
which was a real stretch for me, but
that's right.
Gave it my all.
Great. Okay, if you'd like to talk to Tom Leykis, give us a shot right now at the Broward number's available, 524-WIOD. And let's go to Adley and the Gables.
Hey, Stan, how you doing?
Okay.
Hey, Tom, it's nice
How you
talking
doing?
to you. Tom, when were you in the Miami market?
84 and 85.
Yeah, I remember you. I remember. Did you work on the same station with Neil?
I replaced Neil. He went over to WINZ.
Okay. Did you guys ever work together, though, on the same station?
In Phoenix.
No, Neil with Neil.
Neil.
No, we never worked together.
I worked with Tom in Phoenix.
Okay. My question is, I wanted to ask if you see any noted differences in the listeners. I guess the callers in different markets.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there are differences. L.A. is certainly a very, very diversified market as opposed to Miami, where you have, I think, less diversity in the kinds of people. Let's face it, there are 3 basic ethnic groups in Miami.
Right.
They all hate each other.
Yeah.
And you can basically tell which ethnic group showed up at the polls more by just taking a look at who the mayor is now.
Yeah.
I guess it must be Cubans now, right, who showed up last time?
Yeah.
Or the congressman.
Because Jews don't vote for Cubans, blacks don't vote for Jews. Let's go down the list here, you know.
Did you follow the Ileana Ross-Layton in the election?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I did. In fact, South Florida comes up fairly frequently on talk shows here, either because of Nick Navarro's wonderful television performances.
Right.
Just great to see that man, boy, I'll tell you.
Really makes you homesick, huh, Tom?
Oh, it really does. I really miss all that.
Let me ask you both a question. I'll hang up because I know a lot of people are calling in. But are there any someone that's interested in radio, talk radio like I am? There's a lot of people down here interested in it. Are there any books or literature you can get a hold of?
Yeah, there's a book called Don't Even Think About It by Tom Leykis.
Yeah?
Don't even think about it.
No,
I wrote it.
I don't know of any books like that. There aren't that many. I'll tell you something. Miami's always had a lot of talk radio.
Right.
You'd be surprised. There's more there than almost anywhere else. And I got to tell you something, though, in the overall scheme of things, there are very few talk show hosts.
Right.
There are not many people who do this for a living. Mm-hmm. In fact, I think there are more Major League Baseball players than there are radio talk show hosts.
Oh, easy.
Oh, no. Listen, the guy you're talking to, Stan, is one of the best in the market. Stan, you got the highest numbers, but you're telling this woman before that it's about advertising and listeners?
Yep.
It doesn't make sense,
No,
though.
it doesn't make any difference, does it?
No. Anyway, it's nice talking to you.
Okay,
Bye.
Thank you. Oh, me. It's been great talking to you. Listen, I know you did 4 hours. You just got off 4 hours. Let's take this last call from Boca. See, hopefully it won't be a crank.
Oh, good.
And then we'll wrap it up because I know it's been a long day for you.
Boca's kind of got that reputation. Every time I'm in town, I hear this.
Mike.
I'm a crank call.
Oh, okay. Sounds like a
No,
legit
not at all.
crank call.
No, as a matter of fact, I was really thrilled at your moving to the evening edition.
Well, thanks a lot.
I'm sorry about your own time, but I'm thrilled because I think there's more leeway in this evening edition for you. And I'm really thrilled that, you really had a discussion tonight about that swearing on the air. And when you were talking about it as a talk show host, and both of you and Tom were talking about that, and we're saying that people on FM who are disc jockeys get away with that, my thought about that is that I find talk show to be much more personal in nature. And that when I'm listening to it, I'm really getting more personal things out of it. And when I listen to something on FM, I'm listening to music, and it's just sort of that person is talking to anybody. But I feel like when you two guys talk...
And it's more background.
Yeah, it's much more background.
Yeah.
You don't pay any attention to it.
Is there any talk on FM in L.A., Tom?
No. There's a station here that's kind of like WVCG. They sell blocks of time.
Yeah.
And, so you have like an Albanian show and then a dating show in English and then a Haitian show. It's very exciting.
Okay.
But, no, there's no all-talk station on FM here.
Mike, I'm out of time.
Yep.
Thank
okay.
you. Good
Bye-bye.
to talk to you. Tom?
Yeah.
It's been great.
I enjoyed it, Stan. Well, I am going to stop by and harass you when I'm in town the second week in March.
No, come on in and we'll harass Neil together, okay?
Oh, good. I like it.
Yeah, well, he'll have something nice to say about you tomorrow. I'll give a listen and see what he has to say.
Will you report back to me, please?
Absolutely. You know I'll do that. And good luck with all of your endeavors out there. And, Jesus, don't drive on the freeway, will you?
No, I'm hiding out here till the traffic's gone tonight.
Okay. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Dan. Good to talk to you.
Okay. Tom Leykis from KFI in Los Angeles, which is our sister station. And even if it wasn't, I'd still have him on, okay? We worked together in Phoenix back in 1909. Actually, it was just about 3 years ago that we were in Phoenix. And I left Phoenix right before the big Evan Meekum confrontations. Okay, we're going to go to open phones for the final hour of the show right after the news. So if you'd like to get ready and dial in, be my guest. Our telephone numbers are all available. The Dade number is 751-9463. Broward is 524-WIOD. Boca Del Rey, 278-9463. And Palm Beach, 655-WIOD. And you can be the first in your block to get on the radio with us when we come back right after the Mutual News here at 10 o'clock. Okay? Have to hold on for about 5 minutes, and then we'll get to your calls. Stay tuned. Larry King follows the Stanley T. Major Talk Type program. And then, of course, Mike Ranieri gets you up and gets you started the right way tomorrow morning. Right here on News Talk Radio 610 WIOD. And the big program tomorrow, it'll be the New Times versus Uncle Neil on the Neil Rogers program. Right here.
This is in training. No, I didn't discover it, but it's getting so stinking old.
Yep.
Oh, Neil shined Bill. He didn't show up. How come they don't tell us how many people were there? Did they have a good turnout? Was it a good time? No, they don't want to tell us that. Neil shined Bill, and Bill left early. Well, of course he left early. He's got to get up at 4:30 in the morning to do a radio show. You morons. You feed these people for free, and all they want to do is bitch.
Yep.
And kvetch. So what did Tom Leykis have to say?
He loves you.
Yeah, right.
He does. He was saying very complimentary things.
Let me tell the truth to the audience. You can't stand Tom Leykis, and he can't stand you. And he created a lot of problems for you in Phoenix, and he's a chronic troublemaker and a fat lard ass and a no talent piece of garbage, and they don't want to renew his contract at KFI, our sister station in L.A. And all he does is run around like Jerry Williams and Mike Siegel and get his big fat face and television and the magazines. In the meantime, he's got nothing to back it up. He never had any numbers anywhere, and he didn't have a big number out there, and he's no talent douchebag.
See, I said you'd say nice things about him, but I didn't think you'd say him tonight.
What is this new love affair with you and Leykis? I'm not holding back anymore, man. I'm going to really, this bloodletting we're going to have tomorrow, I think this is a good send-off for it right now in this call. Just really kick it off big.
Well, I've got the article right here.
About what?
I've got the New Times.
Oh, you already have it?
I've already read the article, not on the air.
And what does it say? Is it brutal?
Well,
don't beat around the bush, Dan. Let's have it. Come on, you got a chance for a big exclusive here. I don't know.
No, I'm not going to...
I'm not asking you to read it, but just give us a little...
well, let me, you are referred to as
a moron and heartless and cruel and a douchebag and a slime. Oh, well, that's all true. What about the rest?
Talk show terror, Neil Rogers.
By whom?
By the guy who wrote it.
He doesn't know anything about talk radio. And we invited him to come in tomorrow, and he chickened out, too, just like the bird.
Yeah. Well, they also did a job on Evan from GTR in another segment because she wouldn't play Nuclear Valdez. Could you believe that?
What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. But anyway, it's a full
Nuclear
page.
Valdez.
WIOD Big Mouth Neil Rogers. Does that give you any indication? That's the caption under your picture.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't care about that.
No, but doesn't that give you just a little scent of what the whole thing's all about?
Well, I already have a scent. In fact, if you go out in the backyard right now, where the dogs have been, the same scent is out in the yard.
Yeah. Well, it's like, for the most part, it is a paragraph with Glenn saying something, then a paragraph with Neil saying something. Then...
Well, how could that be? They interviewed me for 6 minutes.
Well, I guess that's what the whole thing is.
How is that possible?
Well, they quote you quite a bit in here. So evidently they took every single... Did he have a tape recorder with him?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, he must have taken every single word you got because you are quoted extensively in here.
Well, that's a miracle.
Yeah, well, I figured you wouldn't be. The way you described the interview, I thought that, you'd get a couple of paragraphs at the end for quotes. But, no, they got the quotes all through here. It's a full page. It's on page 4.
By the way, in case you missed out, Alex is horny. I just wanted you to know that, okay?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's just desperate to get laid. Well, that's all he talks about every day for 4 hours, and now he's ripping you, and his people are, well, gee, you're like Steve, Alex. We don't like that morning show, that Neil. The audience are a bunch of worms, okay? So I think we have, like, open warfare now. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Remember the radio wars? That was like different stations. We can just do it all on IOD.
Well, you're going to enjoy the article, I'll tell you that.
Why?
Because it's very interesting.
Is it long? I mean, the article.
It's a full page.
Well, that's not much. In New Times?
Yeah.
Jeez, I thought the Bird probably figured he'd get at least 4 or 5 pages. Got pictures, bird pictures?
Yeah, big bird picture, and your picture underneath the bird.
Great.
The caption underneath Glenn is, Glenn the Bird Hill finds himself on the outside looking in. Of course, they posed him outside. Good picture of you.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the one off of the publicity handout. Anyway, here's just one. This should
little tease.
This is one little tease, okay? To quote Glenn Hill, quote, Neil was a fat, gay atheist sitting in a room and screaming. I attempted to take the edge off his hatred.
What an asshole.
And then Rogers...
And that's the nicest thing I can say. Take the edge off my hatred?
Mm-hmm. And Rogers...
I stopped doing issues and hatred long before that man ever sit down and blurted out the first stupid cackle. I always did the whole Hallandale bit. I did all that stuff long before he ever got his ass canned Zeta from fumbling over the news over there. Boy, he's got a serious... Do you think he's got Alzheimer's already? He's not that old, you know.
And Rogers'
a serious memory problem.
Rogers' retort that they use is, quote, that really cracks me up that I was a miserable person before he came along. That's hysterical.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, it's like pain. You know, when you take it away, you feel so much better. That's how I feel now that he's gone. God, I never realized how much pain I was in. Well, that's good. It's going to set it up for a great day. We got Gilbert coming. We got
Eric.
Eric is coming, which will be the highlight. I'm just going to have him sit on my lap. I don't want to be horny the rest of my life like Alex. I'm going to, you know, get a little something, a little feel or something. And who else is coming? You know, Fat Rich, of course, will be there to give us the latest phone calls back and forth. Now, can you believe that those two moronic Twinkies wanted to come in and defend him?
I heard that. I couldn't believe it.
I don't. What's the dork lady and what's the other
one?
Robin, the one that with the potty mouth with all the bigoted remarks that we had to dump twice. They want to come in, and of course, the obvious answer is not only don't we want them anywhere near there, but how come he can't come in and defend himself? Why does he have to send, substitutes?
Well, we're looking forward to it tomorrow, 10:05, following Mr. Ranieri.
Well, I shined Calder. I want you to spread that rumor, okay? I shined him, and that he shined the audience, and oh, you little slimy, moronic, malcontent, douchebag, troublemaking. You know what they all are? If they keep eating real good, they can all be like Fat Rich. They're all just professional little troublemaking, big-mouth morons. Neil Shine Bill.
Uncle Neil, have a good night.
Bought him a beautiful pair of Tasco binoculars so he can see his horses backing up on the turn. So we can see clearly the number on his horse as the tail
well, at least he can see
backward direction.
He can see now. What are you going to do about his hearing?
Well, that's another story. That'll be next year. Have a good time.
Bye.
Bye.
Neil Rogers. Are we late for the break? We have a contest to do? No, so we're not worried about it, right? So I want to make this point about cable television, especially while Neil's still listening on the radio. What? I can't? Line 5? Car phone? I don't care, Eric. Yes.
Stan.
Yes.
Jim.
Jim.
Cable.
How are you?
Excellent. How you doing?
All right. While you're on the line here, Jim, let me just read this to you. This is from the Tampa Tribune-Times.
Yeah.
Okay. The Florida Television Magazine, you know, the Sunday supplement that they want you to buy instead of buying TV Guide.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cable companies in the Tampa Bay area. Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater. All the way from Apollo Beach to MacDill to East Pasco to Tampa to Hillsborough, St. Petersburg, Temple Terrace, Pinellas, East Pasco, Sarasota, and Manatee. Okay? That's all the cable firms that serve that area up there. All right?
Okay.
Guess how many of these cable firms carry WGN?
Probably all of them.
Every one of them.
Sure.
Guess how many of these cable firms carry WOR?
All of them.
All except two. And I'll
And
tell
what
you
about Atlanta?
WTB or TBS?
Yeah.
All of them.
They all got Atlanta too?
Yep.
Yeah. You know, you said I was giving you the corporate line the other day, and you were right in a way. After I hung up with you, I started thinking about it.
You're giving us the South Florida corporate line. Evidently in Tampa, the corporate line is if you want GN and TBS and OR, fine, you can have them.
I guess it was the line that was beating in my head for 4 years or 5 years, whatever the hell it was, right?
Yeah. In all fairness to, let me see here, FSN Cable TV in East Pasco, they do not carry WOR.
Right.
In all fairness to our friends, guess who? Guess who? Star Cable in Sarasota. They do not carry WOR. But those other two do carry both WTBS in Atlanta and WGN in Chicago.
Star doesn't carry it down here either, though, do they?
OR? I think they would have to.
OR, but not GN. They got TBS and OR.
I don't believe so. Anyway, it's food for thought, right, Jim?
Yeah, I guess it is. I was saying the other night with all the money that they got to spend. You know who you can really thank for that is the FCC who put out that regulation on having to pay the extra money for all that crap for to carry the third station. I've got telecable out here, and I'm in Margate, and I'd like to have GN too, but I can't have it. The same way that Continental did it. I'm not privy to it in any other way than anybody else is.
Well, I believe down here it's a conspiracy.
For who?
For the cable companies.
Why?
Because they're not competitive down here, and I think we've got to make them competitive in order to offer, for them to have to offer these kind of things. And if they're not going to be competitive, they have to be government controlled. They're like the phone company.
Well, they are government controlled in a sense by the city franchises. If you're not happy with what
city franchises don't have a thing to say. The city fathers don't have a thing to say about what channels Continental or anybody else carries.
Stan, you'd be surprised.
Congress of the United States is the only one that can, and they're thinking about it.
Sure.
They're pissed at the cable firms right now, and the cable firms better start to think about the consumer, okay? The client, the one that's paying the bucks, all right? Continental Cable better damn well start thinking about Stan Major. When they send an asshole repairman out, a tech, and he won't give me a brand new remote clicker, and I've got 2 remote units. I've got 3 boxes in my house. I'm not cheap, okay? I've got 4 pay channels. I've got 3 boxes. And if I want a new clicker that works, by God, I should get a new clicker that works. And I don't want any crap from a $2 an hour technician from Continental Cable that I can't have it, all right?
Yeah.
I don't need him going back out to the truck and changing the face of the damn thing and bringing it back and telling me that's it. All right?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you.
And they better change their attitude. They got a monopoly right now, but I got news for you. All monopolies can end, and what they're talking about in the Congress of the United States is pretty scary as far as cable television. They're talking about opening it up.
Yeah.
And boy, I'll tell you, let's let the phone company get into the cable business. You'll see how long Continental will be in business.
Well, they're trying to get into it now through fiber optics and all that. The phone company is they want to be a major competitor in the next 5 to 7 years.
Well, I'm all for it.
Well, deregulation was probably the worst thing that could happen for the consumer and the best